I ended up working with the biggest YouTuber in the world, PewDiePie.
You've got 18 million followers, you post daily, you've got a team of 20.
It takes 10 years of hard work for an overnight success. I am banned from some countries. In my time when I was growing 1 million followers, Facebook was really pushing me because of two reasons.
Are you ready? Hi there, I'm Robbie and you're watching or listening to the Lost Creator Podcast, a show where we interview some of the most unique and influential people in the content creation world in the hopes of inspiring you to escape the 9-to-5 and live out your dreams. And on today's show, we're joined by none other than Mr. Lost LeBlanc himself, as well as Agon, the man behind Project Nightfall, as we explore his journey to 18 million followers, how he grew a team of over 20 people, and how your hardships can actually be your strengths. And if you stick around, Agon will be sharing his tips and tricks on how he mastered the algorithms across different platforms to be gaining over 1 million followers a month. So Christian, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much.
There he is.
This is a little bit unique, having 3 cameras. I don't know where to look.
Oh, so you got one camera right there. That one's for you, and that one will see that one.
Okay.
You'll get ignored by, unfortunately. And also joining us today, we have Agon. Agon, thank you so much for being here. You're an absolute captain in
Captain.
Yeah, absolutely. No, you are. You're an absolute captain in you know, attention-grabbing content, and it's such a pleasure to have you here with us today.
Thank you so much for having me, Robbie, Christian.
Amazing socks too.
I'm very happy to be here. I have really mismatched them, but they're matched. I hope the camera angles are reading it, and I'm very happy to have 3 cameras. I like attention, and there's a lot coming from these 3 lenses.
That's awesome.
Oh wow, 2 microphones. My goodness.
We're bringing a third one there.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Enough.
Obviously, you know, you're someone who's found such quick success in such a short space of time, and I think obviously one of the things that you kind of really managed to maneuver there was kind of understanding and overcoming the algorithm, right? So I think that's something I'd really.
I think I like the saying that it takes 10 years of hard work for an overnight success. You know, and my case was definitely that. I mean, I always, whenever I do these things, I never assume that people know me, because there's definitely a lot of people watching this who don't know me. So to give you like a quick rundown, Project Nightfall, as you said, quickly grew to almost 18 million followers right now.
Wow.
Which, when I freaking say it out loud, it just feels so surreal, because obviously this was never like a goal to become so quick. And I have begun my journey a little bit over 2 years ago when it comes to focusing on Project Nightfall. And it feels like it was very quick, but before that journey of focusing on my own project, I decided to work with other people. And so I have been behind the scenes of a few channels on YouTube, on Facebook, and I gathered a lot of knowledge on how to grow a channel.
So I'm going to be honest, I know very little of your story. So the first time we met was at the spa just probably about 3 months ago, and I have not seen you since. So tell me, like, what got you into content creation then? Was it just, you know, you said you started off by working behind the scenes then, working in other channels?
Yes, but I mean, we gotta go back all the way till I was 18 and I started singing. It began for me with music and creation. And art, I believe making videos is also a form of art, obviously, because you want to send a message. When I began with music, I wanted to sing about important things about my life. And I kind of like, what's the word? Pivoted.
Yeah, pivoted.
Pivoted, yes.
Pivoted.
I pivoted, exactly. I pivoted.
It's French, yes.
I pivoted.
You
Yes.
Yeah.
So for many years I was making music, like grinding my ass off living in London, and no one really cared. So you really build this like work ethic. When you spend 1 month on a song, you release it, and there's like 200 views on it, and you buy fake views on Fiverr to make it look better.
Yeah.
On Fiverr.
I'm not joking, I really did it.
I guess that's how it starts. That's the grind.
Yeah, that's the grind. So I was making music for many years, and at some point, I got really lucky.
Yeah.
This is a cool story because it can give hope to anyone out there. I believe that in life, every person who is in our space gets a window of opportunity only a few times.
Yeah.
You have to work hard no matter how badly you're doing or how no one cares and you just release videos, because the window of opportunity opens to you every few years.
Yep.
If you're ready and you take the opportunity, it changes your life. So I was very fortunate that in the times when no one cared about what I was doing, I got a window of opportunity. Somehow, I ended up working with the biggest YouTuber in the world, PewDiePie. Back then, he undeniably was the biggest. This was before Mr. Beast and stuff. And it was like, I was a new video maker with a lot of musical experience, and I did this like funny music video, and I saw a job posting in like a tiny London group from his editor that PewDiePie is looking for editors. I'm like,
where did you see the posting?
It's called London Small YouTubers, the group. Yeah.
Small YouTubers.
Small, yeah, I mean, that was the case.
Yeah.
And I see this posting, and I was really like experimenting with editing so hard from the musical standpoint, because I learned editing and all these things for music. Like freaking 30 hours exports on After Effects for like a 10-second segment on my green screen music video that no one cared about. But I see this posting from PewDiePie's editor, and I'm like, why am I not gonna send a message, right? I send a message. The next day I get a response, yo, come to Brighton. I was in London and it was in Brighton. I didn't even know what was happening. I go to Brighton and freaking PewDiePie sits there. And he's like, yo, I saw your video. It's like funny, cool. Like, so we spoke for a little bit, right? And I ended up editing one of his videos. No more, just one video, right? I edited this video with fireworks shooting outside the window because it was New Year's Eve.
Wow.
So it was my
hustle.
first professional edit ever, like professional, YouTube grade professional. I edited it overnight on the New Year's Eve. I put all on it. I didn't do a great job there. Fun fact, like it was in times when the YouTube videos were supposed to be 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I edited it to 6 minutes because instead there was not enough funny stuff in it.
Oh no.
And then I watched the final edit and he had to add like 4 minutes to this edit, right?
Oh, because otherwise if it's under 10 minutes, you can't play
we
ads.
Just bullshit around and made this. So anyway, I make this edit, and then like big drama on YouTube happened, the so-called apocalypse.
Yep.
So he stopped looking for people, but I had this one edit. And I had the recommendation that I worked with him. He liked me and we spoke and stuff. So the next time I could really start editing for like people from the bigger YouTube world.
Wow.
And that is how it began for me.
That was your launch pad.
Yes.
So it just ended at that one video.
That one video.
One edit, but I was obviously...
How many hours did you spend on that one edit? Over New Year's, but
15.
how many hours? 15 hours.
Yeah, for a 6-minute video, and it's like
You can just tell us if he didn't have you back, you know.
No, I really like...
Does he know you edited it? Like,
of course he knows. Yeah. I mean,
Are you one of those people in the emails like, hey, sir, like, please look. Please look at me.
I recently made a video of PewDiePie, and he commented on it, and it's like, oh, I really wondered, where are you in the world? I still remember you.
He missed out.
And he's like, no.
PewDiePie, if you're watching this, you missed out.
Yeah, it's a crazy story because you have a guy who has no experience and ends up doing an edit for the biggest YouTuber in the world.
That's a dope
story. But I really mean it. Like, this is luck, but the window of opportunity is what really made it for me. Because I was ready. I was ready to grind my ass on a New Year's Eve to make a funny edit and really push it and do my absolute best and show my attitude. And from there, it slowly like went to like the American YouTube. I lived on like this place called Vine Street, where a lot of like old big YouTubers came from.
Yeah.
I was editing behind the scenes, and the journey just like I gathered so much experience working with really big names behind the scenes, and I always wanted to do my thing. And then this next opportunity came working with NasDaily. So that was the crucial moment for me, because I was leaving LA, where I worked with like the more like entertainment content world of the YouTube, you know, the more meaningless stuff. And I left LA, and then I had this like important decision to make, because there was more opportunities waiting for me there. But I saw this guy making 1-minute long videos on Facebook, and it's like, I see that he's actually creating something that I was creating too, but back then no one cared. Like, I wanted meaningful content. Not like skits and stuff and dance challenges or something. I wanted meaningful content, and I saw that he was doing it. He had like 3 million followers, and he was running this boot camp for creators, and I sent him a message, and he didn't like me, but
what, just from the message?
No, he thought that I was cocky because I'm from LA, so he had this assumption that like I must be like a cocky guy. But thankfully, Aline, his girlfriend, liked me. So she's like, no, we gotta invite him, okay? And so I came to meet him for 7 days. After 3 days, I made an edit for him that just changed the whole trajectory of NasDaily when it comes to the concept of what was there supposed to be. He was looking for an editor to have an easier life, okay? Because he was like working so hard. When I came there and I did a freaking edit for the video We Killed the Internet that went viral and was so good, he started working 2 times harder. So it was 2 guys now. Okay? Like, I was there for 7 days, and he's like, after 3 days, bro, you have to stay. Like, this is not a 7 days. And it's like, this was the very important moment of my career, because I was behind a true global monster. NasDaily.
If you were there at 3 million, like, what is he now? He's like
50.
Is he
altogether 50?
50.
Yeah. So I mean, when I joined, like this was day 660. It was day 1000. So every single day I was freaking working with Nasir, making videos. We had just a journey that not many people ever have an opportunity to have a journey like this. Where you travel every single week to a different country, where you freaking meet people that you would never meet as a tourist. A guy who's a hyena whisperer, for example.
That's literally Robbie and I.
I mean, it's amazing, right? And so I had this journey with Nasir, then we started a company, and we really put it on like strong way with the NAS Academy and everything. And then I felt, after all these years of working behind the scenes and just really understanding, that's when Project Nightfall came as my goal.
So that is the short version of how you today have built an empire of, was it 16 or 18 million?
18 almost, yeah.
18 million people across the globe.
And a team of 20 plus people
24 people, and I just love them. And it's truly beautiful when, for creators out there, when our world of the internet allows you to make your dreams come true no matter who you are and where you're from. I'm like a guy from a freaking small Polish town. I grew up in post-communist times. It's like we didn't have any dreams because they were killed instantly. There was no such thing as, oh, one day I'll be this or that. It really was something that was kind of gray. The color was gray of our lives. And yet I'm somehow sitting here, you know, getting lost on a podcast. And it's beautiful.
I love that. That's so epic. And, you know, one of the things that I know at this point, I wanted to let you go with it. One of the things you brought up that was super interesting was a lot of people think hiring an editor or a teammate means, I'm going to be able to do half as much work, or I'll be able to take my foot off the gas. But I think 9 times out of 10, that first teammate actually is the moment where you really go in. And I experienced it myself when I added a teammate. That's when I became more organized, more proactive with all the things I was building. I actually have gotten to a place now where, you know, Ruby, who's been doing her own content individually, was feeling overwhelmed. And it's so easy to feel kind of bogged down by all the things you have to do as a creator. And then I've helped her get her first editor. And now, honestly, she is more organized, she's harder working, she's more dedicated to this craft now, and she's able to focus on her lane, which is like, I guess this is a long tangent because I just wanted to come back to one thing that's like, hiring your first employee, if it's the right person, like, it is the start of not just like getting more done because there's 2 people, but it actually makes you as the creator or the owner of the business also need to be way more organized, efficient,
more responsible.
It's a huge piece of advice I have these days for people, and it doesn't have to be expensive. You can hire people remotely, and you can benefit from the fact that creators work on an online economy. So that was a bit of a tangent, but I really loved that you brought that up.
That's one of the things we also really like to do here at the Lost Creator Podcast, is make everyone feel very welcomed. And
I feel very welcome.
No, that's great, but I want to take it a step up. And actually, I wanted to offer you a drink, Christian. I wanted to offer you a drink. Is there any chance you guys might want?
I am in.
I have. We have some whiskey. We have some gin. Some.
Oh
some
wow!
beer.
We go with this stuff.
We got some water. We got some soft drinks. Is there anything I could offer?
There's two options. If you guys drink alcohol, I'll go with it. If you don't, I go with water.
I'll have a whiskey.
I'll do both.
A water and a whiskey.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah. I'm
I'll
very
do both
thirsty.
too.
Double fisting.
I don't drink normally, so it's like it's
a
cool.
treat. Today's a treat.
It will
Today's
add
a treat.
spice to the podcast.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Okay.
It's one of the things we definitely aim to do.
Let's do it. And now it's gonna appear, right?
I don't know what camera I looked at, so
This one.
that's gonna do.
Well, at least you guys.
It's quite a cheap transition. We can improve it, but
Yeah.
you know,
make
I
it
saw your videos.
That's
I
what
know
the Creator
edit.
Academy's for, you know? Just teasing them with that right there.
This is the
you can
entry
learn
level.
this. You can do this too.
$19.99, $50 is a real transition.
Don't worry, we'll keep it going. The sounds outside are fine.
Oh my goodness! I can't believe I'm having whiskey. I don't do this stuff normally.
So much. It's honey whiskey.
It's your bandana that has this
Thank
freaking
you.
influence on me. You look so edgy, and I feel like.
Sláinte.
Cheers. Nice.
Sláinte. And you should, Aegon.
Small sips, right? It's not like a.
Yeah, it's for the rest of the show.
Oh,
we
for
can
the rest of the-
refill. We can refill you.
Let me remind you, I'm from Poland. I know shots. I don't know like small slouching and stuff.
I was gonna say Sláinte. You should know that. 'Cause
Sláinte,
You're of an Irish
No,
descent,
Irish.
right? Or you
This is
should.
kind of good whiskey.
It's good. It's honey whiskey.
Yeah.
Very sweet.
Yeah, alcohol is not my stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I like doing these things because it puts me in a situation that I'm normally not in, so it allows me to be cooler on the podcast.
Did you have a drinking moment in your life?
Drinking moment.
Like when
There
you
was
were
a
like
moment.
partying
Let me
a
just.
lot.
Where can I?
Do you wanna
put
put that
this?
just,
Just
Probably not
awkwardly
on my
hold
couch.
both.
Yeah.
Just
so
what do I do with my you know, Will, like in Talladega Nights? Like, what do I do with my hands?
What?
What do I do with my hands? No? It's from Talladega Nights.
I don't know that.
Just cut to the reference.
Sorry,
I'm not sure what to do with my hands.
Someone might get it. It's
Well,
okay.
forgive
Leaving
me
me out to dry. It's all
for being
good.
uncultured or him being
Aegon, if you
dry.
could just pop it on the floor in front of
Pop
you.
it on the floor.
Here,
yeah.
here. Do you know, I'll give you a hand.
Yeah, I can hold whiskey, but just the water no need, because the whiskey is quite sweet, so I don't need to like.
So did you have a party boy?
Yeah, so there was a moment in my
Phase.
life that I look back at, and I still don't understand why it happened, but there was 1 month in my life when I was 15.
Yeah.
It was a summer school break, and I was drinking beer almost every day, getting drunk on like a sun. And I never had a drinking moment other than that in my life. I actually for a long time I was telling people that I'm an abstinent, because it's very difficult in Poland not to drink.
Yeah.
If you say, "Oh, I don't want it," they're gonna shove it in your face no matter what. So I genuinely like.
And a plate of potatoes.
Yeah, of course, and the bread.
Yeah.
It's the same in the UK. If someone says, "Oh, no, I don't drink," the most common response to
Yeah.
that is, "Well, you'll
Well, what's wrong with you?"
You'll dehydrate." You know.
Yeah.
So,
No, I for some reason like because I come from like a really not the best background life-wise and family-wise. I had a lot of issues in my life. I really protected myself from a lot of things that could change the trajectory of my life, including alcohol or cigarettes or any addictions like that were not with me, other than porn addiction. I had that. Yeah, I made a video about it, so I can say it out loud. It's not a, you know, it's like I don't.
Do we start offering that on the show? Like, oh, would you like a whiskey or would you like a magazine?
well,
No, I overcame that addiction. But you know, you always have some vices in life. And
No
that was
doubt.
mine, yeah.
Yeah. So tell me, like you talked about, I'm sure that's a loaded question to get you to open up on what that all means for you to have a challenging upbringing. But do you think that has shaped you into the creator that you are today?
So much. I mean, you know, most people going into creation don't really think of their own personal story, but a little bit more about like what is the internet about. So like what are the trends? What is the best platform to grow on? What type of videos should I make for revenue or whatever? For me, it was very different because I came from music and where I really cared about expressing my emotions and talking about like losing my mother early on and like being on a totally wrong path until 18 years old and all these challenges that I had to overcome. When I got into video like as a creator or as like person who wants to do something, I wasn't thinking of like algorithms and stuff. I was thinking more about how can I express my journey and show people that you can like be happy. Because that's how I began. I didn't have the same story as today, right? Be accomplished. But I was happy. And back then I felt like the weird mixture that I became out of all the challenges I had in my life, I really wanted to say it to people and preach to them that no matter what happens in your life, you can get somewhere. And I have a good example of that because 4 days ago, I released a video about Osama bin Laden's son, Omar. Osama bin Laden had a son, and his name is Omar bin Laden. The guy looks very similar to Osama. He was even trained at 11 years old by Al-Qaeda to be the next Osama bin Laden. He was supposed to be their leader. But the guy today is an artist and a peace advocate.
Wow.
He became the absolute opposite of his father. Even though he was really like under crazy circumstances being trained by Al-Qaeda, like they poisoned his pets so his empathy would be killed. He didn't submit to that lifestyle.
Yeah.
And he is a totally different person. And I felt very strongly related to that part because like for most of my life, I lived a life where I tried so hard not to be like my father. It was very important to me because my father was not a good father for many reasons. And so I took him as an anti-example, and it gave me this like fuel to use my past as an inspiration for creation. And obviously on a daily content, I cannot sit there and every day talk about my story because it's gonna like, I don't have this many stories. But every now and then I really make these videos that people resonate so deeply with because it changes the way they shape their thoughts. Don't need to think that I'm gonna have a bad life because I had a horrible childhood. You know, and that's why I believe when it comes to your question, I began my creation from this standpoint. This was in times when content was probably one of the worst times so far. The content of times of like pranks and like Jake Paul burning houses and I was living in LA at these times. I was
Vine Street, that's literally
I
right
was
where it was all
around that
happening.
environment behind the scenes.
Yeah.
These were the times. So if I wanted to go into the social media back then, right now I would do like reaction videos probably and like pranks and like
the sensational
vlogs that are just on
stuff.
Yeah, but I got into it for different reasons, and looking back at it, like I definitely would like to talk a little about our organization today, because that is something that a lot of people don't know, but we can segue to it a little later. You know?
I would love to hear about that in a bit. No, it's interesting because you did bring up that like, you know, your hardships are what made you who you are today.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that one thing that you guys might not even have heard yet is that, you know, your channel creates every day. That's like a sadistic level of pain tolerance. Like that is like,
and not only creating every day, but creating quality every day. You know, you've got you've got the like the editing is in there, the sound design is in there. There's obviously it's
now we have animations.
Yeah.
I love these animations.
So does your in like you came from a very difficult place where I'm sure you felt a lot of pain growing up, and do you think that that's toughened you to a place where this is why you're capable to have that level of output?
So much. Like hard work is in my blood. I grew up next to my grandpa, who really, like, it took me many years in my life to realize that I've learned passively about hard work. Because I was a really bad kid and a bad teenager. I was not good to my grandparents who raised me up. But I realized that my grandpa, with small statements here and there, he shaped the way I look at work and how I perceive things. So it definitely toughened the hell out of me. Like, there's many things that I might have shortcomings in, but hard work is something that every single person who ever touched my world and I crossed paths with, everyone kind of understands that that is one of the main contributors of where I am today. And not these like things of like, oh, I got the algorithm or things like that, because obviously that's is like side effect of hard work. But like in this world of content creation as a foreigner with an accent is tough. I mean, like if you make English content and you have like a weird accent and you like the amount of bullying I started my journey with of like like people were really putting me down, that I sound weird. They were like calling me names, that I'm like stupid and stuff. Like really, like you have to have a crazy thick skin and hard work to prove that you are worth something.
That's the most like I think that's what I respect most about 99% of content creators is that they had to go through that phase. There's a few people that are just naturally beautiful, naturally interesting, whatever their thing is, and people just kind of gave them the stage. But most people, me being one of them, you being one of them, you know, nobody was watching at the start. My first videos for almost a year were getting watched by only a handful of people. Yeah. But it's that, you know, determination that kind of leads to the success in the end. But I think that's also kind of segueing to what you said is like success is attainable by anybody, literally anybody. And I think that's something that if I were to be stripped of all my wealth, all my successes, my channels, my everything, I believe I could do it all over again. And it's only because of confidence. Confidence is like the thing that becomes unlocked as you kind of go through all these steps. When you overcome a challenge, you kind of like set the playing stage for the next challenge, the next challenge. I don't know if you feel something similar there, where it's like you've kind of leveled up every time you went through that pain and through that, you know, sleepless night to post and get another video up, another video.
Yes. Level up, totally. Like you really start to understand more and more things every single step forward you take. And for a long time in my life, even you can see it reflected in my videos like a year and a half ago, maybe, a year and a half. I was really preaching what you said. Like I was saying, I had some videos that were like motivational and speaking to people, like no matter what, you can make it, like everyone is there to make it. But then my journey shifted a little bit. My journey shifted when and this is a big like story. Like I found the love of my life because of my work. Sonia, you met her.
I did, yeah.
She's incredible.
I met her.
She's incredible.
She's my fiance. I love her more than anything in this world. I love her more than Project Nightfall, which I never thought I would say out loud because there was always everything in my life. I love her so much. And I met her like very early on when I was like beginning Project Nightfall to like really push it. And I met the love of my life, who's right now the co-founder of our organization. And who works so hard. She's COO of Project Nightfall, and she's like my soulmate who works just as hard, and we really want to make a difference with our organization. And that is the concept where for most of my life I thought the same way as you, which is like anyone can make it. But when we started running causes around the world and we started seeing the challenges people are facing, I stopped saying as often that anyone can make it, because you really, I mean, you saw it with your eyes as you travel. We can say as much advice as we want with creators and things like that, but we are already talking to the upper level of privileged people.
It's true.
Who can watch these videos, who can access internet, who have a phone to record on. It's pretty insane that there's like 2 billion people in the world. Yep. Whatever we say right now, anyone can make it, are not able to make it.
If you can't put food on the table, it's like this doesn't really feel relevant.
You're not even reached by these messages. And so I agree with you, like the people watching this definitely applies to every person because they already are privileged enough to be able to watch this podcast. But there's just such a huge amount of people that we care about with our organization because let me tell you a story. It's shocking. Recently, a school got in touch with us, a school in Zambia. The school was empty, almost empty, because the kids weren't coming to school because they were hungry. Okay, they didn't have food, so the kids wouldn't come to school. And the school got in touch with our organization, and we had this idea of like, what if we try to help with our organization and feed the whole school for a whole year, 5 meals a week, right? Normally, I don't talk about like the food helping because I know people are resistant to it because it's better to sustainably help. I agree with that. But this cause really changed a lot in our minds. We managed to feed 800 kids 5 meals a week for a whole year. Now, the question I want to ask you, how much do you think it costs in Zambia to create this like long-lasting impact for the kids who right now, the school is full. We talk 800 kids. Every single day they feel encouraged to come because they have lunch. All the kids for a whole year. How much do you think in US dollars it costs to create such an impact?
I think it's probably 30 cents a meal.
Tell me in full on.
So how many students?
800 for a whole year, 5 days a week.
you're quizzing me now. Okay,
just
wow.
give an estimate.
Look, I'm no longer an accountant, all right? I left that profession.
I'm going to give an estimate.
Yeah,
I'd say it's
Robbie.
about $1,000. $1,000.
For what? Okay. Per month?
No. I'm gonna say 1,000 a year. I think you're trying to hit us with like a very like
Can imagine
interesting
it's
number.
more. 5 meals per week, 800. I don't know, maybe 10 grand.
You see, normally there's a bigger shock around the room because no one ever guesses it. Maybe you heard about our weekly 1,000 causes, but it's $1,000.
Yes, I did.
Oh, that's why you guessed it. Okay.
No. I mean, like, I obviously know that you're doing well for you with your organization.
That's really it.
$1,000. I mean, because we're very lucky that we reach every single city in this world, in every place, in every community.
Yeah.
We don't need to spend money on flight tickets on this or that. We have volunteers running it for free right there, right now. And when you think $1,000 can change 800 kids for a whole year, feed them, come to school, you really start looking at this world from such a different perspective. And this totally relates to what you spoke about, like my past and why am I so passionate about this and what like drives me and was it significant to my journey. I make these videos for a long-term plan for the next 10 years to impact the world from a humanitarian perspective, to not go viral, enough followers, enough money. It gets all the same once you like hit the million and here and million there. It's all the same. Unless you really love the Lamborghinis and stuff, maybe people like it. I don't like spending money, and it's just my life would stale. No matter how much more I'm going to grow as a creator now, it's done.
Can I ask you, was that night when you stayed in to edit PewDiePie's edit, saying no to going out with friends and instead being indoors when you heard the fireworks going off, did you have that same motivation? Was it such an altruistic reasoning, or was it more of like, I want to put food on the table, or I want to become famous and successful? Like, did you have steps towards where you're now at that place of like greater purpose?
Right on this arm, that tattoo was already there, Project Nightfall. And when I put this on my arm, I didn't know what it's gonna be, but it always was the quote that formed it, which is, what if you could change somebody's life over one nightfall? So I already had this purpose. And I think I'm incredibly privileged because I talk to a lot of people and purpose is not easy to find. I realized that because of my really convoluted past and difficult past, I could either end up as a sociopath who really like just went totally to the wrong direction,
making daily videos.
No, this would be a different journey.
I think
making daily videos from prison.
That's a synonym, like daily video creator and psychopath.
When you have a bigger team, daily content is easier. But I was there alone making daily content initially.
Yeah,
and we were there with Nasir, but now it's easier. I don't go through torture anymore.
I think that there's something interesting though, because if I'm not mistaken, especially when you're producing music back when you were younger, and you try to work with a music video producer, or you were trying to work with someone who kind of took almost a year and a half.
Yeah,
is that right? That was
that's how I began making videos.
And I think obviously that got you into videos, and it's such a stark contrast between someone taking a year and a half to make a video.
It was a half a year.
Okay,
I don't want to like give context. Like I got into video because I made a music video with a guy, and it took him half of a year to finish a music video. I'm like, bro, I'm gonna buy my own camera and I'm gonna produce my music video in a week. I don't need to wait half a year for a music video. I forgot about that song already. Right? Yeah. So that's how I got into video making. I bought a camera, Sony A6100. And I like got it to make my own music videos. That's awesome. How I began.
But from 6 months to that like daily period as well. It's almost kind of like almost kind of not telling, I don't want to say, but there is something interesting where you're starting with someone who takes 6 months to make a video to now posting daily content.
Yeah.
I think we've painted a really beautiful picture of like what brought you to this point, who you are as a person, what you stand for, like, very cool. I love that. I can't say I had such like a greater vision at the start, but it's something that kind of for me came like Maslow's, what's it called? Maslow's pyramid. The pyramid of hierarchy. I'll have to pull it up next time I try to sound smart.
Put it here.
Basically, you achieve certain levels to eventually reach the greater purposes of life, such as helping other people. But for me, it kind of came through self-servicing and then, being able to help my immediate friends and then eventually helping others that I don't even know. So like, for me, it was a bit more of a pyramid as success came in. Now, with that kind of out of the way, I really want to be able to also take a moment to help people, because a lot of people listening are like, you've got 18 million followers, you post daily, you've got a team of 20, There's something you know that a lot of us, maybe all of us, don't know.
Okay.
So why don't we start pinpointing a couple things? I want to get down to what content you feel is really working right now, or maybe we even pinpoint it more. How are you getting ahead on short form? Because it's clearly like for you such a strength. You're doing incredibly well. And secondly, I want to hear a breakdown of your team. Like, you have 20 people. What are they doing? Why 20 people? Are each of those 20 working on an individual video? Let's start with however you want to start that.
We can start with the content itself. Which, by the way, like I had this running joke with my team 2 days ago. I said to them, like, I sat seriously and I said, guys, like, I achieved a lot in my life. I never look down on people. I don't think that I'm better or anything until now. Because right now, I am an up-and-coming TikToker. And this changes the game. Like, I expect respect, okay? My channel, like, I'm up and coming, getting thousands of followers now. Like, I said it to them because, like, I was really resistant to TikTok, like, for a long time. Because
me too.
In the old times when I was complaining about TikTok, I have a lot of viral videos anti-TikTok and anti-China, which is obviously country responsible for TikTok. For a long time, I was against it.
Yep, everyone needs to understand that.
And now, like, the past few days, I finally got verified, and my social media manager is like pushing content, and there's already like 80,000 followers on the channel in like few days. I don't even know how fast it's happening. So I changed my mind about TikTok because my friend, you can check him out. His name is Charlie. He uses TikTok as an incredible form of humanitarian work. He's in the US. He has like millions of followers, and he uses TikTok to really make a good impact. And I realized I've been focusing on these like silly challenges of people eating freaking like whatever, but I was blinded to the concept that every single platform has a good side. So now, short form, long form. Our bread and butter is something that so many people take for granted and don't even consider as a serious platform. Facebook. We have 13 million followers on Facebook. Facebook is what made Project Nightfall what it is now. It's a very different platform, but you have truly devoted audience because it tends to be 18 plus, 20 plus. It's not kids, and you really can create videos that mean something. People come there to really like, it's the most like toxic platform, but also the best platform when it comes to good comments. It's a very strongly balanced because everyone there has an opinion. So here are some advices for people who want to make meaningful content and for people who want to just make content. When it comes to meaningful content, there is no more powerful way of creating videos than timely content. When Will Smith slaps Chris Rock, you better make a video within the next 10 hours because that is by far the strongest possibility of virality. Project Nightfall has been there around many global events, whether it's in the US, in Asia, in the UAE, wherever. When something happens, I was always there from the very beginning when I was on my own. And that is what started making videos go viral. Obviously, it's not an easy form of content because you truly need to be a master of script writing. You really need to understand how not to get yourself in trouble. It's often sensitive content. You don't want to just report on it. That's what like media does. They just report. As a creator, you need to have an opinion. Timely content, whichever world you're in, whether it's sports or like just news or whatever it is, timely content is amazing, and it just explodes channels.
Have you been doing timely content even when you were a one-man band?
Yes.
So you were basically just always on the go. You were. How did you keep your eyes and ears open to the timely, newsworthy content?
Well, you know, you have the internet, the best medium in the world. You instantly know when something happens because you get a notification. I think it's not as much about how do you catch it, but more about how do you create it fast enough. A lot of creators overthink a little bit on like how to start, how to produce. Oh, my video doesn't look good enough. I need my light here behind me, la la la. No, like when my first
color
video...
grading. I hate it. It takes 5 hours on a video.
DaVinci Resolve is not opening. What do I do? Oh, this LUT is offline. No. The first time I went viral is with a video that I titled, "Are We Teaching Racism to Children?" I recorded it in an echoey bedroom at night with a flash from my phone as a light. And I didn't know back then yet, but the video got freaking so many views, and I'm like, what is happening? Like, I didn't have time to edit it. I really wanted to quickly edit it, and it's like 10 times more than my any other videos. And that started shifting my thinking, especially now in the times of like short form content. People don't see quality as much. If you create high quality content that looks amazing, that has great editing, sound production to like a really extreme level, most likely majority of your viewers are video makers and creators. If you create, which is a great audience as well, obviously, I mean, you would know about it. I'm sure a lot of people like got inspired by your style of editing and videography. Like, I have huge respect for this because I myself come from like, you know, advanced videography. I know how to do this stuff, but I wanted to reach regular people who have no clue about how to press the record button on the camera.
The kind of people you hand the iPhone saying, "Hey, sir, do you mind taking a photo of me?"
And they like point at the sky.
It's crooked. And
it's a selfie.
Yeah,
this type of people.
Those kind of people. Yeah,
that was always the concept. So I quickly realized. I mean, as Robbie said, I'm glad that you see that we have high quality content, but it's not the main focus. The main focus is the story. Timely content is one answer.
Because there is something about bringing personal experience, which you do in most, if not all, of your content.
Oh yeah.
But how do you approach? How would one approach looking at a viral trend or looking at something that is kind of it's a topic that's trending, but bring in something that's personal experience when they have like no personal, you know?
One thing I've learned, my first truly emotional video was about how I managed to forgive. For the first time, I cried on camera. No script, just went with it. And it kind of was scary, but I did it. It's not easy to cry on camera as a guy for the first time. I felt like people will call me out when I'm weak or whatever. I released it. In that moment, I realized that there's no such thing as someone not having story. I saw the amount of people who started opening up about their childhoods, their failed marriages, their relationship, whatever it is. Every single person, almost every, like there will be tiny percentage who had perfect life. Every single person has a point of reference into like struggle. And I think that is what distinguishes creators who create this like connection with the audience and creators who just have viewers. You can have viewers, you will have a great life, you can have millions of followers, they will love your videos and stuff, but they really don't care as much about your journey, and they don't really think about it.
I love that.
They scroll to the next guy right away, or girl right after that. For me, like when I made that forgiveness video, I realized everyone has a story. And whenever I give advice to creators, it's super tough to overcome this fear of opening up. It's not easy because people judge. There will be bad comments. But if you believe that your story is important and you want to find people who are like the past versions of you who are struggling right now, you will find truly meaningful comments on your videos that don't say cool video bro, but actually like, you know what, your video inspired me in this or that way.
But you know what the problem is? Most people don't even think their story is interesting enough because they don't recognize it yet.
Yeah.
I kind of coach loosely a few people, and one of the things I see the most often is that people are very close to holding their secrets, their pain points and their weaknesses, their fears. But really, if they just open that up a little bit, that is going to be the thing that people find you irreplaceable for. That's the reason people are going to hit subscribe and not just be a phantom follower, but a fan for life.
And it's cleansing.
It's beautiful.
It helps
too.
you in your life.
Business-wise, it aligns, but also personally, it feels great. Like for me, my story was the grind of the 9 to 5 and what it did to me mentally, physically, and to this day, I mean, that one video on my channel is probably the reason 75% of people come up and say hi. And you know, one of the reasons why everybody needs to ask themselves what their story is because right now they're probably telling themselves, my story is not interesting enough. I'm an average person. I didn't go through, you know, famine or massacre of my village. Like, I had a very normal 9 to 5 or you know, Western upbringing. But in reality, you probably have a story that is incredibly relatable to more people than you can even imagine. And that's going to be a place of bond. And it's also, like you said, it's a place of just feeling like I'm not acting. I'm an authentic creator, and that feeling is freeing. It's awesome. It's also why I opened up a second channel. I love the vibe of like, I'm not thinking about retention rate. I'm just chilling. I'm filming what's going on, and for me, like, that's beautiful. I love that channel more than I love my main channel because it just feels free. And that's a cool thing about being a creator. When you kind of get your place and you find your footing, depending on what you make, I suppose. But it can be a really liberating feeling. Do you feel like, because I don't want to get back into it, but like, do you think you got into creating because it was like a voice when you didn't have one?
Oh yeah, like I kind of was frustrated with the way things were happening around me because, as I told you, like toxic masculinity is huge in my times in Poland. Like there was so many things that were just like, you cannot think outside of the box. You have to be this or this way. I mean, I had people call me all the names possible for just like having long hair and doing music. It was very frustrating to me because I had, you know, like you kind of can see into the future by your environment, your parents, people around you. You can see where your life is headed. And so I didn't want my life to be where it went for most people around me. Yeah. And I see it right now looking at people I know, like they live lives I would not be happy in. No. It's just like I would not be happy in. And I mean, it's very important to say everyone should be allowed to be happy. And sometimes I envy people who will be happy for simply living their simple lives. Yeah. Like I envy it sometimes. I had to work my ass off and I had so many challenges in my life. And I wish sometimes like I could just like play my Nintendo Switch without thinking, oh, I'm wasting time. I need to change the world, you know? I wish it sometimes. Wired. Yeah, I'm wired this way. And
right. No, if I'm not mistaken, that's something you see yourself doing in the future. Do a lot more writing, no?
Yeah, for sure, yeah. I want to become a writer at 50. My life comes in 10-year segments. Okay. So from 20 to 30, when I put Project Nightfall, I promised myself that by the time I'm 30, Project Nightfall means something to people. Yeah. Luckily, I made it happen. It was still like not huge, but it happened. Now from 30 to 40, with my amazing fiance, our goal, she has a matching tattoo of the organization with me. And
which one?
Right that one here, right there. Yes, that's our.
Do you want to show it to the camera?
Yeah. Right here.
Very cool.
So now
tattoos are all about the story behind them.
You can look cool, you know, you look cool, but it's actually about story that it reminds you. Look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, yo, I've been slacking. I have this project to do by the time I'm 30, and I'm like playing Counter-Strike. Okay, I need to like you start like really taking care because I'm gonna have
put it somewhere in plain sight, and you'll never forget your mission. It's like your mission statement. Yeah.
So now 30 to 40 is our organization. That's the goal for the next like long time. Our concept is to just be the biggest organization in the world.
And that's going to take a team. I think this is a great time to hear a little bit about why do you have 20 people and what are they going to do for you to
22.
You know, bring back that kind of salary, that overhead. That's a lot of stress. And, you know, before I ask you this, I'll say for myself, I've just this year stepped into what I'd say is a mid-sized team. We've at some points I think had 12 people, 13 was the max. And now my job has changed. I went from being a creator who thought almost exclusively about, you know, what flight or what trip was next and being in front of the camera. Now I'm managing teams, I'm managing, you know, all sorts of things that I sometimes didn't always really want, but come with the territory. I'm curious, like, you know, how are you managing to keep 20 people on track? Tell me a little bit about what those people do.
Okay. I am so privileged and lucky to have my team. Like, my team is really a reflection of me in very many ways. People who are very fulfilled by this job. So that was my focus from the first hire I ever had, which, by the way, just had a son, and I became a godfather to my first employee's son, and Sonia, my fiance, is godmother. So it's a crazy thing. Like you have employees who become your family. It's crazy. Anyway, so from the very first day,
Robbie, have a kid.
No,
not yet. Not
for a while.
From the very first day, I hired people based on like a concept of potential and mission and personality. Somehow, funnily enough, among 20 people, it ended up that like 85% of our team are diplomats. We go by personality tests, which I recommend to every person who ever wants to build a team. It's incredibly helpful to build a team from the personality standpoint. Okay. Every single employee we ever bring on team or when we interview goes through personality test. The simple one is 16 personalities. It really helps you because there's no bad personality. All personalities are great. But when you build a team, you want to understand who you're hiring. What do they believe in? What do they like focus on more? What's their thinking? Are they feeling type? Are they thinking type? Are they good with numbers? Are they good with emotions? You balance the team in that way. So from very early on, I thought about it. And it all started with one person. That's usually
sorry, before you dive in too deep, are there any personalities that you won't hire?
Right now?
Yeah.
Right now, yes.
Yes.
Yes, because, no, like, right now, if we have 4 more people in the team, then we can balance it out again.
Okay.
Like, I will not hire a turbulent type right now.
Yeah.
What does the turbulent type mean is that very often turbulent types have doubt in themselves. They express their emotions often, and when you have too many people with this attitude around the team, it can slowly overshadow the concept of like work. Right? You want to balance it out because it's very important. I love, like, our team is amazing. Like, I just love them so much. They're so well balanced and everyone brings something different. But I wouldn't hire a turbulent type right now because it would be too many people who need a little bit more of like emotional management.
Okay.
There's different types of managements, like, oh, do this, and you do a to-do list, or like, hey, you can make a type of management.
Yeah.
You really want to balance it out so you can allocate your powers everywhere possibly. So it began with the first person. I was grinding my freaking life, daily content alone, going viral with videos. I'm like, what is happening? I released like a video and it has 40 million views. And I'm a one-man guy, right? Like one-man band. And I'm like waking up in the morning at 7. What is today's video? I'm like waking up, coming up with the idea, then scripting the video, recording it and editing and releasing by the evening every single day.
Yeah.
So I needed an assistant, right? I need someone to like maybe put my thoughts together when I sleep or something. I hired Anna, the first employee, and from there it started growing. So to give you like the scope of what people are doing. From the beginning of the storytelling creator side, we have 2 story hunters. People who do for the whole week, all they do is they look for the right stories. Every single morning our team meets and we brainstorm. So they present pitches to us, the videos that are going viral now, or that ideas that came from their head. And we always brainstorm and I give it the spin. I explain, okay, let's do it like that. Let's do it like that. These are story hunters. Then there's a second in line, very tough to find and train. It takes a long time and a lot of involvement. Script writers. Incredibly tough hires to find.
Yeah,
because
they are you. They have
no
to sound
one's
like
ever
you.
gonna join and be ready. No. We had people with years of experience in the biggest TV networks and stuff join us, start from zero.
But it probably doesn't help when the interview process is the first question that's being asked is, are you an Aries or a Gemini?
No, bro. I don't believe in that stuff. No.
Are you turbulent? Yes, no.
Zodiac, no. Zodiac stuff, no. Which, by the way, I shouldn't have said it in the interview, in the podcast. Now, anyone who will ever want to work with us will answer the questions in a way so they don't come up as turbulent. Yeah. No, cut it out.
You'll have to change the question. Do your friends consider you turbulent?
Yes, yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, now it's... But like, how many scriptwriters do you have right now?
Right now we have... The team grows so fast that I need to count it. I mean, sometimes I step in and write scripts as well, but I don't count myself as a team member. So 5 script writers.
Wow.
5 script writers.
Okay.
And sometimes me or Sonia steps in and like quickly write scripts. I need to often edit scripts.
Yeah, of course.
Still, like with some people more, some people less, but like we went through a lot of people. Like we have the best platform in the world for hiring. This platform is called Project Nightfall. 1 post and you get 10,000 applications. Right? You have this platform on Facebook. I don't need like to hire as much on LinkedIn. Although recently Sonia started using LinkedIn more. We're looking for project manager now. But like we post and we get thousands of people who want to work with us. So we really like go through people with like 7 years in like a TV network in the Philippines or someone from Nigeria. Like we have a very diverse team. And I love, you spoke about it earlier that you can remotely hire people.
Yeah.
Our whole team is remote. I haven't met most of them. I met quite a few of them in different countries and stuff, but most of them I haven't met, and I love the concept.
Including the one whose son is your godson now.
Yeah, I never met Anna, and she was the first employee. Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we will meet her next year.
I hope so.
You've
got a child. You better go see him. We got 2 story hunters.
We have 2
5
story hunters,
script writers.
5 script writers. 2 of the script writers are still on a 1-month trial period. This is their 2nd month of trial, so
don't feel too comfortable.
I don't want to spoil, because if they're watching, they shouldn't know yet if they're in. Anyway, like we will hire more script writers because it's very important.
Yep.
Then I am incredibly lucky and happy that we just got our 4th editor. And editing is my bread and butter. Like, script writing, I believe, like, I'm really good at, and I pretty much anything on the team other than animations, I cannot animate. I really, like, I can consider myself an expert, but editing is like where I really strive. Because I came into the editing from the musical standpoint. I really edit with pacing and like considering style of the editing that just like kind of gave this backbone for a lot of creators on Facebook. When I started editing for Nusire, for NasDaily, I gave this like structure for editing that a lot of people take now. And training editors, whew, I mean, you went through that, right? You know how difficult
the sound design, especially the sound design.
And
like, do you know it's something that like once you get it, it clicks, and then you're like
to another level. It's so enjoyable, right?
Yeah.
So I have 4 editors now, and it like really helps now because I don't edit anymore. Sometimes I miss it. I love editing. It's like my passion, true passion. But I have 4 editors. Then, I mean, me and Sonia work together. So Sonia is COO. Who else do we have? We're building a new department. We like treating teams in departments. So now we're building our animation department. We have 5 people in the design team. 4 of them are illustrators, 2 illustrators and 2 animators. I became an incredible fan of animated content. As a scriptwriter, as a storyteller, it's so cool to be able to have any story you have in your head put into content. You don't need B-roll, you just animate it, right?
That's a dream. And we're not quite there. We have some map animations, but we're not quite there.
I am so fulfilled by this. Like the stories that we cover with our animated content, we can go back in past where there's no B-roll and make a story out of it.
So you've been posting that regularly now?
We were posting once a week. Now we built the department to 4 people, so we'll be able to post twice a week animated content.
Great. If you can overlay, that'd be really cool. Just to show a little bit of context.
Overlay, yeah. Show the animation. Like, I'm so proud of them. Our illustrators and animators are so talented. And it's just so cool to have new form. That's like very easy with copyright. Everything from the first stand is created.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Then we have our assistant with purpose, which is a person who helps with everything we need, but also very importantly, because we have our organization, every single week we find different causes. Someone needs to check if this cause is real, if it's a scammer maybe. So far we've been very lucky. We've helped, like, we donated quite a lot of different causes and there was no scammers, but someone needs to run it and double check how these calls.
Yeah, and sadly it's true.
Yeah, like I like to say that, I don't like to say it, but I sometimes say that even in the world of giving, there's a lot of taking. Yeah. And it's important to make sure that our money, whenever we donate, goes to the right sources, right?
Yeah. Robbie, should we tell him what was in the whiskey? So we put a truth serum in there.
Truth serum. Oh my goodness.
And with that, you're no longer going to be able to withhold all your short form secrets.
I was lying for all this podcast and now I need to see.
It takes about 5 minutes to kick in. So by now you're flowing with it. Yeah.
Okay.
So now we want to hear your secrets. How are you getting 18 million followers?
Well,
I mean, obviously
you had a time period it was like 1 million followers a month.
Yeah.
So
1 million a month.
1 million a month. Please.
That was in times and I was almost like on my own, which is crazy. How do I do it? I think, everyone has I love the word momentum. Social media comes in waves, and it opens the door of opportunity, as I said before, for a short amount of time for a specific amount of content. In my time, with all my experience in understanding the algorithm, which, by the way, I'll tell you a very interesting algorithmic knowledge that I have about Facebook, for example. But outside of that, in my time when I was growing 1 million followers, Facebook was really pushing me. Because of 2 reasons. Because of the type of content and because of the algorithmic secret that I'm going to tell you now.
The truth serum.
The content type back then, like I was first on many types of stories. Like first on a lot of things that right now I cannot be first anymore because people took it and started making videos about it and it just is not as fresh anymore. But back then, like there were so many topics that no one was talking about. I mean, I was, you know, like I am banned from some countries. I cannot go because I'm gonna get executed. I'm not kidding. Like I was exposing governments of small nations or even bigger ones. I was making videos that were talking about really sensitive issues, things that are happening around the world, diving into like what is happening in North Korea, like really researching a lot and diving into these crazy stories. And I was just exploding like crazy, talking about what's happening in prisons and like these like secret things that are available on the internet but were never put in like content. And now it is because, as I said, like I gave the backbone for many creators to talk about these things. But back then I was the first. And 1 million, here's another. I'm like checking my metrics. I'm like, what is happening? Like I never saw this amount of anything. Money, followers, like likes, shares. I'm like, what is happening? I sit in a cafe and I have a guy coming with a fist at me. Back in the day, I would think the guy wants to punch me. But he's like, yo, respect, man. You know, I'm like, what is happening? So 1, momentum. 2, knowing the algorithm is life-changing. It changes the way you structure videos. A lot of creators make video the way they want it. You just make it, right? It's your video. You want to say it. You want to talk up to camera about this or that. But you need to find a balance between the video the way you want it and the way the platform wants it. Facebook, for example. Nowadays, I'm really lucky that we have huge presence on Facebook, on YouTube, on Snapchat. We have shows, and now on TikTok as well. And Instagram is a tough one. So Instagram I haven't cracked. That's the one platform. I mean, I haven't cracked over 1 million followers. Like a lot of people say, oh, he hasn't cracked 1 million followers. But for over half a year, I haven't grown on Instagram. So that platform I haven't cracked. But all the 4 platforms.
Try a year and a half.
Instagram sucks.
It's changing right now. It's still trying to work itself out.
It's just all comments are emojis. I don't want to get emoji comments like hearts. Like give me some value.
People don't want to watch long form. They want the goldfish entertainment.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Like, but that's another story for another day.
So like what are the algorithmic secrets? Very structured because I'm like a data guy. Facebook, in my opinion, still one of the best platforms. A lot of people have a misconception. Facebook pays just as much as YouTube, just so you know. Because people think Facebook is like not paying money. No, it pays very well and there's a lot of misconceptions. Anyway, Facebook. Facebook ad always starts on 60th second. If you are a script writer, you have to structure a script that between the 52nd and 60th seconds, there is a cliffhanger that wants the person to sit through the ad. This makes a huge difference in the watch time, and the algorithm recommends you. I had 86% of recommended views in these times when I was growing 1 million followers because people are watching the ad. I never just typed scripts back then. I literally count 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 seconds of the intro. I would spend 40% of my time structuring the intro of my video and 60% of my time on all the rest. Intro, more important than the outro. Because if people don't sit through the intro, they have no idea what you did later on. That's Facebook. Snapchat, Snapchat is insane as a platform. Like it's incredibly American, which means that the CPM is just off the hook. When videos go viral on Snapchat, they pay like one video pays like 30 videos on Facebook. It's insane, the CPM on Snapchat. Insane money, right? We understood Snapchat for many reasons. It is a 13 to 18-year-old teenage audience that's very snappy. Each view counts as a 7-second view, and you need to be youthful. You need to jump on important trends that are happening in America and be one of the first and provide storytelling aspect. Because a lot of content on Snapchat is kind of like surface level. So like when you are able to storytell on Snapchat and you attach some unique perspectives on things that are trending in America, explosion.
So do you take like your YouTube content and then just be like, yo, what's bussin', Cap? I think that's what the kids are saying. Is that what
No, I'm still mature.
Okay, so you're still keeping it like
No,
100?
I still present the same way. It's more about I have my night thumb, and that is gonna always stay. I'm not cool enough. Like, it's not like I'm breaking the platform. I'm the biggest creator there. But we had some videos that were in like top 1% for a few days, for example, in the whole country.
Are you creating natively for each? Like,
Yes.
so you're creating a Snapchat video.
Yes.
And it's not just a
Nowhere else
repurposed TikTok or a repurposed
Snapchat
YouTube
videos,
short.
people on Facebook hate Snapchat videos, for example. Like, they hate them. I tried to release some videos from Snapchat on Facebook, and they're like, bro, what happened? Like, we thought you were better than this.
Yeah.
It's
Like,
not like we create bad content on Snapchat.
We thought
it's
you were
just-
bussing.
Yeah.
You know, what happened, fam? Is that what they're saying?
Yeah.
I still got it. Like, I still got it.
Bro, you're
100%.
not useful enough. You need to get your game up.
I do have gray hairs coming in.
Yeah, me too. But my fiance Sonia loves gray hair, so I feel I'm on the right path because she likes older men. And I'm like, okay, like, I'm not there yet, but like, I'll get there one day, so I'll always be sexy for her.
There you go. That's for a different podcast.
That's
Get
right.
yeah.
That's get
The
lost.
after hours.
Then we really get lost, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Get lost after hours.
Okay,
That's when
so-
the third whiskey.
So Snapchat is tough though, because getting a show is not easy. It's not available for every creator, so I don't want to just focus on this too much. Then we have YouTube. I mean, I didn't even post to YouTube until a year and a half ago, because I knew that my Facebook content is not popping on YouTube. So I didn't have a team to like grow on YouTube. I had like 20,000 subscribers from like many years of activity here and there, vlogs and stuff, but I never posted. And then the team started growing and I started posting on YouTube. But what really happened on YouTube is undeniably our short form platform. No revenue. Like, I mean, we have videos with 10 million views that made $50. Short form pays horribly.
Wow.
So like, YouTube is our platform where it's like not for revenue, it's for like the presence online.
Yeah.
Our YouTube, like,
Are you growing there?
yeah, like pretty well. We grew
2.83 million.
2.5 now almost, yeah. So like,
pretty well.
just, you know.
This is the total size of my jet. That's fine.
fun fact, when I met you in the sauna, I had a
Interesting place to
a
meet.
10,000 less subscribers than you, because I remember going on the channel and like saying,
And now
by
you're
the way,
like-
you got 2 million, right?
I did.
Yeah!
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Now I'm like, yeah.
You know, I watched one of your videos and I forgot about it, because I watched the video and I wanted to send like congratulations to you, but it went on 1.99. So I wanted to wait and congratulate in the comments, but
Well,
I
you know
forgot.
what? I prefer this. We're good to
Congrats,
see you.
man.
Thank you.
It's like I respect you so much for growing such a huge audience around the type of content you make, because it's a really impressive hard work content, and people sometimes may
work
not
content.
see how much effort goes into freaking each cut of a wave going behind the clouds and doing this. It takes so much work, so huge congrats, and you're doing so well.
Thank you.
Helps having a good team. You know?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Do you know one?
I would no. I worked with this guy.
That was not brought up. You guys.
Yeah, we worked.
I mean, the
together.
reason
Was
why
that-
I'm
that
on
was
this
not
podcast is
mentioned.
because Robbie is like, whatever he's asked, I'm like there. He's
Thank
like, hey,
you.
can you like
Thank
help me
you.
build a house? I'm like putting bricks, you know?
Yeah.
So
So
now
Egon
that's
says, "Can I come
a
and
work-
like leave some of my stuff at your house?" And I say,
Yeah, it's like-
"Absolutely, I've got space."
Yeah.
But there's
And
a condition.
There's a condition. I have to end up sleeping on the floor. But yeah, no. So yeah, obviously we worked together before. It wasn't for a very long period of time because it was
No,
kind of
very.
like your.
I mean, you came to replace
Yeah.
me as a head of video, which
that
you
I-
know are big shoes to fill, my man.
But yeah, no. I mean, we did get to a very short period of time, and then you came to Bali almost
Yeah,
immediately
yeah.
after that, didn't you?
Yeah.
By the way, they're talking about they work together at NAS.
NasDaily.
Daily.
That was the time. It's
Yeah.
very well connected to the timeline of this podcast, because that was the time when I started focusing on Project Nightfall. I'm like, okay, the team is growing, NAS Academy is exploding. I feel like I can focus on my journey. Like, we set up things together with Nusayr, and it's just like, I'm so proud of what he's doing, and NAS Academy is
He's
so
a
good.
hard worker.
Oh,
man.
that's why I said he started working twice as hard when he saw me, because he's exactly like me.
Yeah.
It's tough to find people like us, and when you
And
put
it
them
hasn't,
together,
it hasn't
it's mad.
stopped either. Like he's
Yeah,
still
of course.
really going for it.
Yeah, so met Robbie back then.
Yeah, so basically, you know, me overtaking you paved the way for you to become how big you are now.
Yeah,
today.
I mean,
So
I can
you're
pretty much
welcome.
say that
You're
it's all
welcome.
because of you.
I'm honored.
Well done,
I'm
Robbie.
honored. No, but thank you, honestly,
Yeah.
thank you for everything. And
I mean, what a random thing that now we meet here, right? I remember when you told me that Robbie works with you, I'm like, what? That's crazy. Like, wow, I want to see him. Where is he? He's in Bali. Small world, really.
Now, I know we kind of... was that the end of like
no,
all the
okay, so
platforms?
YouTube, we'd make short form content, and as an advice for people, I feel a little bad for new creators right now. I won't lie. You have to make short form content, but you're not gonna make money on it. And it's a little difficult because here you are with 1 million followers. There's so many creators with 1 million followers that make like freaking $5,000 a month at the very best. And $5,000 is a lot of money, right? But when you have 1 million followers, you would assume, oh, I'm gonna be rich. Nowadays, content is very differently created. So short form have to make on YouTube. Like, it's very difficult to grow a YouTube channel nowadays if you don't use the algorithm, which algorithm pushes you with short form content. So that's it. And what was the last platform? TikTok. Same thing as on YouTube and Facebook. What I like about TikTok right now, I mean, I can only say after growing 80,000 followers in 4 days. So I don't know, maybe the platform will stop exploding the content. But what I see now is that both of the contents work on TikTok. Our long form we put there and our short form. So TikTok is great because I don't need to produce new stuff for it. I just put what is on YouTube and on Facebook, and it's exploding on its own.
Are you titling everything?
Yeah, of course.
Every word.
Hashtags and all these things. I mean, I'm not doing it.
No, like subtitling. Like inside the video, so that if you don't have any audio,
always
you could
subtitles.
the whole way through the whole video.
Yeah, I do it because like my content has always had quite a big community of people who are deaf.
Wow.
And I mean really big community, because this is the best way they consume content, right?
Yeah.
They get subtitles on every single video. We have been making subtitles always on videos.
What software are you using to do the subtitling?
Typing. But
manual.
We use Trint. It's a software where you take an MP3 of your voiceover, throw it in, and it creates an SRT file.
Right.
And then you put it in Final Cut or
Trint.
Premiere.
Trint?
Yes.
Probably still needs like a few adjustments here or there, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. The editors always have to adjust things on the like a B-roll, so it starts. And I'm quite a perfectionist with editing. I don't like when like subtitle is one frame to the side, so it begins before the frame. Like our editors.
You do realize you have to create every day.
I know.
So I used to use rev.com for YouTube to create SRT files. Same thing. It would basically, I paid $1 per minute. Are you paying?
No, it's $30 per month.
Okay.
With daily
Much
content,
better.
it's so much important.
Much better.
Yeah.
But in the end, now YouTube creates the captions itself. So back in the day, I used to upload an SRT file, attach it to the YouTube video, because that would then give additional metadata. So if I said, here's how I'm going to travel Dubai, like then how to travel Dubai would become more ingrained in the algorithm and the search.
Tricks, man.
But that's not really relevant these days. So.
No,
I'm curious though, because you're using this software to sort of transcribe, essentially to create an SRT file. But is your content not scripted? Do you not have already like a Word document?
No, it is, but you have to copy over each sentence for the subtitles, right?
Oh, gotcha.
So like I speak with different pace every time. It's impossible to like just put it in. So they would need to type it anyway or copy. This already creates the timing, so it's much easier. Yeah.
And on the sort of scripted, well, I don't want to say scripted versus unscripted, but obviously you've got 5 script writers, but you've put such a big emphasis on when it comes to like hiring them and the trial process that it takes so much more work there than it would with like an editing, which you know,
similar though. Editing is tough as
editing's tough, but once you kind of, I think for the kind of more daily content that you're putting out that has more regular systems,
it's easier to control.
It's easier to control consistency, But when it comes to scripting, obviously that becomes harder because every topic could be a little bit different. So what's the sort of feedback giving process for yourself between doing script and doing for scripting and for editing?
I mean, the important part of the scripting feedback itself is that, as I said earlier, like personality tests and how people align and stuff, people who are scriptwriters in the team have to be the reflections of me. I say these things out loud, and I have created a format for them to follow. But everyone has freedom to kind of express the way they want to say things, and then I like edit or you just go with it. The feedback always begins from the first step, which is, are you ready to forget about every rule you know about your script writing and truly be open for learning? This is the case for a lot of our people. We have people who have been like working in the TV network for 5 years and they quit to work with us. I cannot say, hey, you don't know how to write. They know exactly how to write. But how to write for Project Nightfall is a very different thing. So whether it's editing or script writing, it's kind of like creating a reflection of what I established. right?
Yeah.
Like what I established when it comes to putting words together or editing. When it comes to script writing, I mean, I learned a lot working with Nasir. Nasir learned from me the technical standpoint, the editing, sometimes even camera presence a little bit when I joined and things like that. But I learned a lot from his script writing.
Here is a man. He has a boat, and it's a big boat.
Oh man, the stories we have from our travels. That should be a different podcast.
Yeah. Well, hey man, honestly, it's such a great chat. This is a loaded one. I feel like you need to probably start again and rewatch it all. Maybe take some notes because it's been a ton of value. The truth serum has done wonders for us.
I forgot already what I said because this thing is like hitting strong.
We're gonna get him a driver home, so no stress. We're taking care of him.
Back, yes, please.
Where do people find more of you?
I mean, it's so easy, right? I have a business card right here.
There it is.
Project Nightfall, and I really encourage anyone watching right now. I encourage you to go to projectnightfall.org, where you can really see our work of our organization. And over the next months and years, you will see how Project Nightfall is becoming a much more than a social media creator, and the content that we make is just a platform for really impacting the world and changing the lives of millions of people. So go and check out what we have been doing so far, because I'm incredibly proud of it, and I think more people need to believe that people care and want to make the world better. We need less skepticism around it and more belief that everyone can make a change in their own ways.
So beautiful, so deep. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So on that note, guys, thank you for joining us. And if you want to check some more out, obviously follow, subscribe, and have a drink with us. See you next week.
Get lost.